Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting about cultural untranslatability. So, this topic connects two important aspects. So, first is the language and the culture. So, language is not just about a tool for communication. It's also a reflection of who we are and what we value as a culture. So, understanding the challenge. Language acts as a bridge to express our culture. However, sometimes this bridge isn't strong enough. Some words lose their true essence when translated into another language. This challenge is what we call cultural untranslatability. So, first we define what is cultural untranslatability. So, the definition is cultural untranslatability happens when a word, phrase, or expression in one language has no exact equivalent in another language. So it means that the concept doesn't fully exist in the target culture. So translators struggle to capture both its meaning and emotion. Untranslatability explained, we can think of this concept using puzzle metaphor. So just like a puzzle, pieces that don't perfectly fit together. Some words simply don't have matching pieces in another language. So this creates gaps in meaning and emotional understanding. Language and cultural language mirrors our beliefs and customs. So it reflects how culture shapes our way of speaking and understanding the world. So we have the three key reflections. So there are three key reflections here. So the first is the cultural reflection. So cultural reflection, language shows our tradition and values. So, para bang gina-reflect natin yung isang language. So, the second is the world view expression. So, it reveals how we see and interpret the world. And the last, emotional resonance. So, it carries the emotions deeply rooted in our cultural experiences. Like, for example, the examples of cultural untranslatability, here are some examples that show how language and culture are deeply connected. So first example is bayanihan. So, di ba, bayanihan is a Filipino term for community, unity and cooperation, or nagtutulong-tulungan, and hygiene. What is hygiene? So hygiene is a Dinesh word for cozy, comfort, and contentment. So the third is kilig. As a Filipino, 'di ba? Na nafe-feel natin ito. So Filipino term describing thrilling excitement of romance or isang relationship. And the last is ubuntu. An African term meaning I am because we are highlighting community, interconnectedness. So each of these words carries cultural emotions that don't have perfect translation in another language. So here are the reasons for cultural untranslatability. So there are three major reasons. So the first is the cultural experiences. So the cultural experiences, each culture has unique traditions that shaped the meaning. And the second is the values. So the values is different societies prioritize distinct moral or spiritual beliefs. And the last is the context. So language is rich with idioms, gestures, and expressions that depend on culture to make sense. So let's proceed what it implies. The cultural untranslatability. So the implication of this is cultural untranslatability reminds us that language is tied to identity. So for translators, teachers, and learners, it's important to realize that perfect translation is not always possible. The goal is not exact words, but capturing the closest meaning and emotion while respecting both cultures. So let's move to the conclusion of our topic. So the conclusion, it concludes that cultural untranslatability shows how language and culture are inseparable. So to truly understand a language, we must also understand the people and the traditions behind it. And also, by appreciating their cultural and translatability, we learn to value diversity, understanding, and respect among different cultures. So, thank you for listening. I hope this discussion helped you see how words carry not just about meaning, but the heart and the culture they come from. Thank you.